Live. Ooh, we already got a vote yes. Today is the day. By the way, if you were here on the last live stream, I was told to get OBS for my live streams and I downloaded it. I'm just trying to learn how to use it. So OBS, if you don't know, it's a streaming app and it helps you to put graphics on the screen while you're talking that other people use. So I have it and I'm learning how to use it. So that way my live streams can get better. But hello everyone, thank you for joining. Okay, so today is the day. It's September 14th. I know that the polls are still open. And I just wanted to say this. I want to just start out by saying this. No matter what happens with this recall, um, there's a really big chance that Gavin Newsom will not get recalled. There's also a chance that he will. There's a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. Yes, there is a chance that he could get recalled. The media won't cover it, but Larry Elder has a huge base. He brings in huge numbers wherever he goes. But again, the media will not tell you that. But I want to say that, if the recall doesn't go through, in my opinion, it's a huge success. So if Gavin Newsom doesn't get tossed, should we worry about election fraud here? I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. I think we cross that bridge when we get there. We already know they're going to try to do everything humanly possible. But I will say, if they were very confident in perhaps a rigged election, I don't think that they would be shaking in their boots as much as they are. A lot of people are really on top of it. I'm a part of a lot of volunteer groups that are really concerned about election fraud. So hopefully, on a sad note, did you hear about Norm Macdonald? Oh, yes, I'll get to that in just a sec. I'll just finish this thought, but that is very sad. I do think, if he doesn't get recalled, I have a good feeling that a lot of things will be investigated and will be looked through. But yes, before we go even further, Norm Macdonald, sad news, rest in peace, Norm Macdonald. Oh, Stephen voted. Good job. Norm Macdonald, 61 years old, passed away today. Apparently, he had cancer and he's been battling it for 9 years quietly. I had no idea he had cancer, but he's one of my favorite comedians. He actually, when I first moved to Hollywood, I worked at a sports bar, and a lot of the regular guys that came into my sports bar, hi Nightmare, they were friends with Norm Macdonald, and he came in, I think, once or twice. And, sometimes we talk about celebrities, how crappy they are in person, but he doesn't seem like that type of person at all. It just seems like a really solid, really laid back, really kind of under the radar. Hi, just really nice guy. So that was really, really sad to hear today, but hopefully he's in a better place, whatever you believe in. But it was really sad. Norm Macdonald, 61 years old. I can't believe he had cancer. I had no idea. If he isn't recalled now, many will be falling shortly if they. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't get to read. How dare you start without me? Sorry, Kelly. I tried to announce it earlier. Oops, I mean Hillary. But okay, I wanna say this before we move forward with what's going on right now, because the mudslinging is out of control against Larry Elder. It's beyond parody at this point. It's so shameful. But to give you hope, Sarah, I'm sorry I can't donate to you in this round, Stephen. That's okay. Thank you for. No, I remember your last donation. Thank you, Stephen. I always appreciate anything. I appreciate what you did. Thank you very much. But when I first moved to LA, I lived there for about a year, and I started to notice after a year, I'm like, wow, there's already streets that I used to be able to walk down that I can't walk down anymore. And it was because the homeless problem was just growing like crazy. There were tent encampments everywhere. And I moved to my neighborhood specifically because it was a safe neighborhood and I could walk everywhere. That's a thing that I like. I like to drive as less as possible. I enjoy walking. And I started noticing that. And this was before I was interested in politics, or before I didn't even know who the governor was. And I remember thinking, like, I wonder what our government is doing about this. This is so bad. I just couldn't believe it. I'd never seen anything like it. So I remember I found Gavin Newsom online. I was like, okay, he's the governor, and I found his social media. And while I'm noticing more and more homeless people, the problem is out of control. You're seeing like needles and things on the road. I look at my governor's social media, and he's in Mexico saying like, I love Mexican culture, and we're bringing in more immigrants, and I'm just thinking like, what? Like, what? I'm all for all of that, but it just seems like it's a little bit off at this time. And that was how I first came to know who Gavin Newsom was. I remember just thinking, like, is he the governor of California, or is he the governor of Mexico, or is he the president of Mexico? And that's how I understood who he was, and I started seeing behind what he was doing. I think he's the governor of pandering. I started realizing there's this entire political class that they really don't care about the people. They care about their future in politics, and they care about optics. And that's exactly what he was doing. He was doing it for optics so he could go down in history as this great progressive governor and maybe one day be president. I don't know what his goals are, but he definitely wants a future in politics. And California is a perfect example. When will the votes be revealed? I don't know. That's what I've been. Hi, Jennifer. How are you? On my way to vote Newsom out and Larry Elder in. Awesome, Jennifer. Yeah, the polls are still open in California, so you can still go vote. And from what I'm hearing, Jennifer, if we're still on after you vote, hop back on and let us know. From what I'm hearing, the polls are pretty crowded, which is good because a lot of people that are going in to vote are probably people that are going to be voting no in the recall. Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for voting. But I wanted to say that so when I searched Gavin Newsom, I'm looking online, and I don't know if you guys are aware, but there were several recall efforts that they tried to push through before this one. And when I first found out who he was and I first started seeing these recall efforts, it just felt like such a long shot. Like, this will never go through. Not enough people are involved. Not enough people make the connection. Not enough people care, especially in California, where we're known for being very into ourselves. Not everyone, but a lot of people. So it seemed like such a long shot. And even in January and December, I went out 2 times to collect signatures, and even still, it felt like such a long shot. So, in my opinion, maybe I'm too optimistic, but I feel like no matter what happens with this recall, I do feel like it was a win. They're shaking in their boots. They're doing some of the most embarrassing campaigning right now. I'm about to read you a headline. It's just, you can see the evil every time he talks. So many liberals in Cali. You really can. He reminds me of that movie Psycho. Is that the movie I'm talking about with the guy? Rose McGowan calls him hair gel. You look awesome, Sarah. Thank you. But I just think it's a huge win because it was such a long shot, especially when so many people are because of, Donald Trump and California being such a one-party state, for them to be hair gel. Yes, it's hair gel. So vote against hair gel. Especially with California being such a one-party state. I mean, it really did. So the fact that this even went through, the fact that Joe Biden, instead of taking a nap, came out and did campaigning and talked in front of people, which he hates doing. He would much rather be in his basement napping or eating ice cream. So that all of this happened, in my opinion, was a huge win. It shook things up, and it really did open a lot of eyes. There were so many people that I talked to when we were out getting signatures, just really awesome people that voted or that came and signed the recall. And we even talked to people that didn't want to sign a recall, but they were listening to us, and they were like, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yep, that's a good point. So even if it doesn't go through, this is opened up a lot of people to what's happening in California that maybe before would not have been opened up to it. And I do think that it sent a message. Maybe it's not as big of a message, obviously, that we want if it doesn't go through. But I do think, hi Keith, how are you? I do think it sent a message, and I think it's good. And let me just tell you how. First of all, so Biden came in yesterday, He came to California to campaign for Newsom, and he was met in, I believe it was Newport Beach. Double check me, but I saw the video. I'm pretty sure it was Newport Beach. He was met with booing and Trump signs. So he does bring out a crowd. It just wasn't really the crowd maybe that he wanted to bring out, but his motorcade was driving through Newport Beach. Oh, it was Long Beach. Thank you. Okay, so his motorcade was driving through Long Beach, and it was Long Beach. Okay, thank you. Yep, you're correct. His motorcade was driving through Long Beach, and there were Trump signs. They were booing. I think some people were telling him to get out. He went and made a speech, and here's the thing. Biden, Kelly said, I loved that. I did too. Here's the thing. The whole time Biden was talking, campaigning for Newsom, he couldn't even say Larry Elder's name. There should be a 10-year minimum sentence for election fraud. I agree. I mean, that's one of the things that holds our democracy together, is being able to vote and being able to have faith in the voting system. If you don't have that, what do you have? So Joe Biden was campaigning for Gavin, couldn't even say Larry Elder's name, and basically said that if you want California to continue to progress, then keep Newsom in. And he goes, if you vote for the other guy or something along those lines, you are voting for Trump and Trumpism. So that's what they're doing. They cannot say one good thing that Newsom has done to stay in office. Not one good thing, because there's nothing. And then this is what Gavin Newsom said. I fear people are going to just give up on voting. I know, and that's why when people are talking about how it's rigged too much, homeless tents on every street in major cities, crack pipes everywhere. This is progression. I'd hate to see regression. Exactly, but that's why they can't actually say anything that Newsom has done, because he hasn't done anything. All they do is attack Larry Elder. Biden meeting with the kids. Okay, so someone's asking about the MAGA kids in Shanksville, PA over 9/11 when Biden was visiting and making his rounds. A few kids, we showed it, was it yesterday I was live streaming? I can't remember, but we showed it. We showed the picture. So if you didn't know, Biden took a picture with a bunch of kids. Two of them had on MAGA hats, and then one of them had on a shirt that had President Trump on it, and he said, "I'll be back." So it was hilarious. Biden didn't even know what was happening, and they all took a picture. If people have not voted and you intend to vote by paper ballot, we'll need them for the audit. That was hilarious. Kudos to those parents. Yeah, it was really funny. And I looked at it a few times and I was laughing. It took me a few times to notice the kid in the red shirt with the Trump picture that said, "I'll be back." I thought that was so funny. But this is how desperate they are. Gavin Newsom said, "A vote for Larry Elder is a vote against diversity and racial justice." Gavin Newsom said that. By the way, Larry Elder grew up in South Central LA, and his dad was a janitor. And yes, this is exactly, you can't even make it up. And I just think about this. Imagine being a kid in the future and reading a history book and not understanding how bonkers our political climate is right now, and reading that. Like, how does that make Newsom look? What would you think about anyone that would say that against someone like Larry Elder? What would you think? Back to his CRT talking points. That's all he has. But I want to read you this really cool thread. So if you want to know exactly why they can't say anything good about Newsom and exactly why everyone should vote yes, here it is. So this is by a guy named Craig Clemens, and Craig says, "I voted for Newsom, and today I, along with many Democrats, will vote to recall him, and here are the 7 reasons why. He let California get scammed out of $31 billion by criminals. Your tax dollars at work are exactly now literally working to make scammers wealthy. Yes, that's 31 billion with a B. Mafia level money siphoned right out from under us. If you paid Cali taxes this year, some gangster is probably driving around in a Rolls Royce now on your dime. And even before this scam, how high are our taxes? Yet, how bad are our roads and sidewalks? This is why they can't say anything good, you guys. If you're the man at the top, a scam of this size is your responsibility. But of course, Newsom has never taken any responsibility for this. That's not a leader I can trust. And if we don't vote him out now, we have no chance of getting a better Democratic governor in 2022 because he will be the nominee again. So that is a very good argument for Democrats voting to get Newsom out because he will run again. And you're not going to have another Democrat on the ticket. Number 2. He lied about our important issue. California wildfires have destroyed the lives of thousands. The best way to prevent them is by clearing the brush and forests. Gavin talks big about this, but then he was caught lying about how much of the forest his team had cleared by 690%. He also lied about their responsibility with forest management. He blamed it on the federal government, and that's not true. Even though the federal government owns most of the land, they're responsible for the forest management and prevention part of it. Okay, and in 2019, he actually cut the budget for forest fire prevention. This is why the forest didn't get cleared. Playing politics with wildfires is playing games with the lives of Californians, but year after year, the fires keep getting worse. And as a lifelong Cali resident, I'm not going to stand for it. 3. Thank you so much. Who was that Kelly? Thank you very, very much for whoever just sent that. That looks like a Kelly sent. That was Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. I don't know how I can see it before your name pops up. Thank you so much, Kelly. Okay, this is good. Number 3. He's taking other steps that increase global warming. And that's all he talks about is global warming. Smokey the Bear doesn't approve. I agree. Neither does the California bear. Wait, No, California doesn't have a bear. That's Colorado, right? Okay. Newsom talks big climate change game. But in reality, he is shutting down Diablo Canyon nuclear plant, which provides power to 3 million people. That's more than every solar panel and wind turbine put together. The plant is working perfectly, but the power will now have to be replaced by burning fossil fuels. So in actuality, with plus and mishandling of fire preventions, Newsom is worse for climate change than the majority of his opponents. This is a really good, the forest fires is leading forest globe. Sorry, I didn't get to read that properly. I might need to turn this light on in a second. He keeps schools closed against the will of parents. Gavin's biggest donor by far are the teachers' unions. Unfortunately, the teachers' unions don't do the best by the kids, and Gavin has to bow to keep his funding flowing. The result? Our children in homeschool for far too long. And imagine how difficult this must be in homes where all the kids share one computer. This policy is leaving underprivileged families behind their education, and that's not right. Number 4, he lets the homeless run rampant. This is one of our biggest problems in California. The number of homeless people in California rose 31% over the last 10 years. And the rest of the U.S., a decline of 18%. Did you hear that? So in the rest of the U.S., homelessness has declined 18%. In California, it has risen 31%. I think it's because they're all going to California. I'm dead serious. That's why it has to be. If you go to Venice Beach, I think the number is teachers union holding back blacks and everyone. They're holding back everyone. We'll do a little case study of Venice Beach. The majority, I think it's something like 70% of the homeless in Venice Beach are not from California. So I think they left the rest of the U.S. and then came. Oh, I voted to recall the goon and yes for Larry Elder. Larry wins. No. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Okay, let's continue. Where New York City shelters 95% of its homeless, Cali shelters 1/3. All while spending $13 billion on homeless over the last 3 years, and now he wants to spend $20 billion more. Look, I'm all for helping the homeless. The issue is that under Gavin's watch, the monies are not helping, which is true. We keep throwing all of this money. If you don't vote for Newsom, you ain't black. That's basically what he just said. Whoever just said that comment, that's exactly what he just said. He said, if you a vote for Larry Elder is a vote against racial justice. You can't make it up. Wouldn't you love to be him in the history books? What is that going to look like to our future and generation that don't understand how bonkers we all are right now? Okay, let's continue. The fact that most of these funds go to businesses that depend on being a homeless population. Wait, in fact, most of these funds go to businesses that depend on there being a homeless population in order for them to stay in business and to get government revenue. That is a misaligned incentive. When you hear people complain about corruption in politics, it doesn't get much worse than this. And did you know that around half of all the fires in Los Angeles in the Bay Area are homeless encampments? This is true. If you turn on your Citizen app and you look, you'll see all these like little fires around Los Angeles. They're all tent encampment. They're tent fires. Almost all of them. They happen all the time. In my neighborhood in LA, one of these recently spread to the hills, burning down 1,200 acres. It makes me sad to think of all the wild animals that died in that fire, which never had to happen in the first place had Newsom been using that $13 billion to actually help our homeless population. Number 5, and this is what they call the homeless industrial complex, and this is the problem, because you have all this money thrown at our homeless problem, yet they're going to all of these people and institutions that really rely on the homeless population, and they rely on there being a homeless problem to keep themselves employed. So you have all these people running around with clipboards. Meanwhile, our homeless problem is getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So that's what they call the homeless industrial complex, which is alive and well in Los Angeles, just like our fires. Okay, number 5. Number 5. He ignores California's drug problem. Look, I don't think someone should do hard time for a bag of weed, but fentanyl deaths are up. Holy cow. Okay, fentanyl deaths are up 2,100% over the last 5 years. I don't know if you guys heard about this story recently, but this happened in Venice Beach like 2 weeks ago, and I know this because I have some friends on the comedy circuit, and there were 4 comedians that, and by the way, don't do drugs, people. Just don't do it. Don't put anything up your nose. Just don't do it. But there were 4 comedians that were at a little like house party in I think it was over Labor Day weekend in Venice Beach, and it was around midnight, and right, Kelly heard the story. It was around midnight, and they were all just snorting some coke. Can I say that? I don't know. They were doing the white stuff up the nose, right? And it was laced with fentanyl. 3 of them died at the party. 1 of them went to the hospital in critical condition. She is alive, but I mean, so that just goes right into the fentanyl overdose and just how dangerous it is. And I don't know if you saw, there was a video that went viral. It was of a police officer who was confiscating drugs. I don't know how this happened. If you do, like, let us know. But he was confiscating the drugs and came in contact with the fentanyl, and he had to be saved by his fellow officer because he almost OD'd. I don't know how that osmosis, I don't know. I have no idea how that happens. Okay, so let's continue. So fentanyl up 2,100% over the last 5 years. That is insane. As Michael Schallenberger recently said, because California's decriminalized 3 grams of even fentanyl and meth and shoplifting under $950 worth of goods, prosecutors do not prosecute, police do not police, and residents do not report many crimes. So this also helps. So a lot of times, a lot of these super progressive DAs, they'll say, well, look at my crime statistics. They're not up anymore. That's also because people have gotten tired of reporting crimes because nothing ever happens. I just read this in San Francisco. You'll walk on the street and you'll see people putting a note in their car that says, I don't have anything in my car. It's already been broken into a few times. Please don't break in. There's nothing valuable in here. And I also heard that they're just so used to it at this point that they don't even report when they have a car break-in. So that makes it look like your crime numbers are going down, and it makes these DAs be like, look, our crime numbers are going down. No, it's just so bad that people gave up on reporting. Okay, he continues. 3 grams is a lot of fentanyl. 3 milligrams is enough to kill an average sized man. No dose, not dose, kill. So 3 grams, that's a dealer bag. But Newsom and his boss that helped get elected have decriminalized this. Along with decriminalizing stealing $900 worth of stuff, that's more than one person can carry. It's no wonder homicides and home robberies in Cali are on the rise. And Target and Walgreens are having to shut down stores because of too much theft. So I don't know if you remember, 16 Walgreens pulled out of San Francisco because of this. They couldn't keep up with the theft. And there was I don't remember what exact area of San Francisco, but a lot of the Targets started closing at 6 p.m. That's pretty early because I think they stay open until 9 or 10 p.m. They started closing at 6 p.m. And now they're having a problem. I just read this recently. They're having a problem with people coming in and stealing their goods. It might have been CVS that talked about this. If you know, then correct me. They're having so many people come in and steal their goods, and then they're selling these things online. And they're like, we can't keep up with this. We can't keep doing this. Number 6. Oh, here's a good one. Gavin Newsom is the man of scandals. Can I just add this? So his side of politics loves to talk about a certain color of people having a certain privilege. Right? Like the white privilege. That's all they talk about. Is Gavin Newsom not if that's the idea that you subscribe to, is Gavin Newsom not the epitome of that privilege? Just saying, if that's something you subscribe to, if that's what you believe in, is he not the epitome of that? Okay, so this says, number 6, he cheated on his wife. Yes, it was 10 years ago, but he, as a married man, this makes me question his judgment. Yes, I should have researched more before I voted for him. Had I done so, I would have discovered that not only did he cheat, it was with his best friend's wife who was working on his campaign. I just learned this yesterday. I didn't know this. We all know focus at work is important, but if you're focused on the skirt, you're not doing the work. I'm actually reading this for the first time. If you're focused on the skirt, you're not doing the work. Yes, and it was not only did he cheat on his wife, it was his best friend's wife. Not someone I can trust as a leader. Someone says this happens a lot. You are correct, unfortunately. Number 7, he looked us down with nonsense. Oh, he looked us down. Number 7, he locked us. I'm actually reading this for the first time. Number 7, he locked us down with nonsensible regulations. We all know the French Laundry story. To be honest, I felt this was a little overblown. What wasn't overblown were the regulations put on citizens and small businesses that made 0 sense at all. I'm sure you recall when you were recalled when you were allowed to eat outdoors only, but only with one family member. But only if they were from the same household, but no one was allowed to sing, and you both had to wear masks, but not while eating, because when you eat, the virus takes a break. These senseless regulations, I can't talk right now. These senseless regulations hurt thousands. Restaurants paid big bucks for plastic panels, but were then not allowed to serve. Movie studios were allowed to keep filming and serving food, but your family-friendly neighborhood cafe was not. You guys remember that infamous video of the woman who had to shut down her restaurant and she went to go pick up some items? Thanks for the pep talk. I don't know if you were talking to me. Oh well. You remember that video of the woman who... Yes, and you had to put your mask on in between bites because when you had food in your mouth, like he said, it was taking a break. Everyone knows that. But you remember that infamous video of the woman who her restaurant had to shut down. She was a small business owner. She went to go pick up supplies while her restaurant was shut down. She looked next door and there was a full-on movie filming with more seats outside for their crew than she even had in her entire restaurant. I actually noticed the same thing. I used to live right under Sunset Boulevard, and I was walking one day along Sunset Boulevard, and I'm walking past all of these restaurants. So I don't know if you remember, for those of you that live in California, you remember, but it was really messed up what happened. So all of our restaurants, they all completely shut down, and then they were allowed to do outdoor seating. So all of these restaurants spent tons and tons of money being able to accommodate outdoor seating and heaters and plastic and all this stuff. But then they had to completely shut down again. So they reopened, hired their staff back, spent all this money, and then they had to completely shut down again. And during that time, movie studios were allowed to film, and that's what I saw. I saw that video, and it blew my mind. But I could not believe how common it was. I mean, I was just walking down Sunset Boulevard one day. I'm walking past restaurants that are shut down, and then I saw it myself. There was a filming crew. They were filming. I mean, so it wasn't just that one instance. If I saw it too, just taking a walk in my neighborhood, it was pretty common. So all these restaurants were shut down, and these movie studios were allowed to film. No wonder all the celebrities are saying to vote no on the recall. Shut down and hurt financially beyond recovery. All these things have led to something that has never happened before. Californians are officially leaving. We all have friends that just couldn't take it anymore. They upped and moved to Texas or Florida or places they didn't have to put up with this mismanagement that is ruining their lives and livelihoods. But most folks can't afford to move, and those are the people that Gavin Newsom is hurting the most. So for me, this isn't political or personal. It's just common sense. I voted to hire Gavin Newsom. He's done a crap job. So now it's time to find someone else. So why the recall? Why not just wait for the term to be up? 2 reasons. This is a really good thread. Number 1, if he doesn't get recalled now, he is for sure the Democrat candidate in 2022. So that means that you have a chance of putting a better Dem on the ticket. We are stuck. So if you don't vote to get him out, you're stuck with him. And he could go all the way up to the White House, which is what I believe he's planning on doing, which is why I think this is so important. Reason number 2, in my opinion, the way he handled these issues was intolerably bad. I mean, he lied about the wildfires, our biggest issue. How many homes and people's lives did his mismanagement destroy there? I could go issue by issue, but my point is, this isn't about eating at the French Laundry or not wearing his own mask. If it were just that, I wouldn't be voting for this I wouldn't be voting in this recall. This is about Newsom destroying our state and destroying people's lives. You don't have to love the other candidate. The winner will be in office until 2022, and then another election happens. But we need to stop what's going on here before it gets worse. And yes, while you may not have your ideal candidate until the next election in 2022, this is our only chance to get a more effective Democratic leader than Newsom in 2022. California cannot afford any other disastrous fire season or another multi-billion-dollar scam. We literally can't. Both of my brothers lost their homes to wildfires, so this is personal for me. Maybe your family was affected by the fire or school closures. Or maybe you're just tired of feeling unsafe walking in your own city. You don't deserve to feel unsafe in a place you love. Oh, that's how I felt. It's true. It sucks. And especially not in your own home. And you don't deserve to feel frustrated by confusing, nonsensical regulations or feel like your child is being left behind in their education or their social life because of political games at the top. So I'm voting to recall Newsom, and I hope you'll join me. The future of our state, the lives of many Californians literally depend on it. You can use a mail-in ballot or find a polling place here. Okay, so that's basically the thread. I thought that was an incredible thread. I'm voting for Larry. Awesome. We got a lot of people that voted here on the live stream tomorrow. Yeah, I think we're going to find out tomorrow. What do you think? Do you guys think we'll find out tomorrow? I'm trying to figure out. I'm wondering, because we had so many mail-ins, if this is going to drag again. I wonder if I can refresh this and get some news. All those he'd take the mark. That was actually, I will say, that was actually the best argument I heard for a Democrat voting to get Newsom out, even people that are maybe a little pro Newsom, because if he's the Democrat on the next ticket, he's likely going to be the next Democrat voted in. Wow, okay. This is CBS. They will not say Larry Elder's name. This is so funny. Okay, this is an update by CBS. This is how they're spinning what's going on. So CBS News, they tweeted this out. They weren't wild about the guy. Even many of California's Democratic voters don't find Governor Gavin Newsom likable, but the emergence of a leading Republican challenger may energize voters to save Newsom in the recall election. You've got to be out of your mind. But I mean, there are some people that their allegiance is so thick that you can show them anything. You can show them all the proof you need to right in front of their eyes, and they won't. They're like, no, I have to believe what I've always believed. Don't show me the truth. Not saying his name. Biden didn't say his name either. And it really angered all of these celebrities. I'm looking at all of them on their Instagrams and their social media, and they're saying, vote no on the recall. And I'm not one of those people that would say like, well, all celebrities are dumb. No, they're citizens just like you and I. They're allowed to have their political beliefs, and they're not. I mean, some of them are really smart. What am I talking about? Anyway, but what really bothers me about this is some of the main problems in California are our homeless problem, our crime problem, our disappearing middle class, a lot of these wildfires, and the people that live in multi-million-dollar houses in a gated community. Those are not the people that... Sarah, good luck to Larry. Yeah, I agree. You know what? It doesn't even have to be Larry that you vote for. If Gavin gets over 50% yes on the recall, my shirt is inside out. I did that on purpose. I didn't want my logo out, so I just put it inside out on purpose. It really, yeah. I thought it was made that way. It is made this way. I should have just said that. It's fashion. I made it this way. Thank you. It's fashion. Fashion. I did go shopping today and I bought something really cool. I'm just taking a break. I want to show you what I bought. I'm so excited about this. Look at this laptop cover. I bring my laptop everywhere with me, and I just thought this was the coolest thing. How fun is that? Fashion. Okay, enough of that. Yeah, but all of these... Hope it wasn't Walmart. No, it wasn't Walmart. You mispronounced Eva's new bed. Sheepskin? I don't think it's real sheepskin. It's probably faux sheepskin. Eva she likes to lay on stuff like that, so I have to keep it off the ground or else it will become her new bed and it will be covered in cat hair. So has to stay away from the cat. That's a homeless or an Eva bed. Either one. I have it's like a Sherpa sweater. It kind of looks like that. And it's my cat's bed now. I haven't worn it in a long time. It's just her bed. But that's one thing, like when people are listening to celebrities about this, our main problems don't affect them. So why would you listen to anything they have to say about this recall election? Your laptop is no longer unhoused. Can you tell me what the thing that's sitting on top of your green box? Oh, it's a what do you call it? It's one of these. Hold on. A brush? It's one of these, but it's really big and it has... My pillow. It's one of these and it's really big and it has a powder in it and it's scented. It doesn't have blush in it, but it's like scented powder. It's like perfume type stuff. That's what that is. Show and tell makeup brush. Yes, but that one's not a makeup brush. That's a makeup brush. So that's what bothers me about those celebrities. Let's see if there's any more news about this. Powder poof. Yeah, it's a powder poof. Powder puff. Eva's brush. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Hold on, I'm seeing if there's more news about this. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, we were just talking about this. This is so funny. George Gascon. So George Gascon, that's the progressive DA in Los Angeles. He's just like the progressive DA in San Francisco. Actually, George Gascon used to work in San Francisco. So he's our progressive DA in Los Angeles. By the way, California has about 60 recall things going on. They're trying to recall. Bush should apologize. Oh gosh, that was so bad. I'm not there. Is he on Gab? I don't know what y'all are talking about. The revolving door DA. Exactly. Kelly's right. He's the revolving door DA. But we were literally just talking about this. So they will use the fact that people just stopped reporting crimes to say, look, our crime statistics are down. So George Gascon. The evidence is clear. Crime is overwhelmingly not on the rise in Los Angeles. LA People Today. Violent crime up 24.8% compared to 2020 and 32.4% compared to 2019. Truth matters, victims matter. Yeah, so they'll keep trying to say crime isn't on the rise. It's not on the rise, but you have to look at what they're talking about because they'll talk about specific crimes. Okay, oh, here we go. Larry Elder. Okay, polls close at 8 p.m. Find your polling place. Vote yes. So, I don't think that we'll find out tonight. I'm looking for California. Let's make this happen. Voting yes. Thank you very much, Frank. God bless you, Frank. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciated Bush after 9/11, but he disappointed me. You know, same here. I was so appalled by that speech that he gave at the 9/11 memorial. I mean, you have to be, there's no way you can have a straight face and say what he said. Comparing anything 9/11 to January 6th or even the rioting that happened over the summer to January 6th is just, you can't, that's, yeah. But I kind of, as soon as I saw him and, Obama together and the Clintons together and all of that, I kind of knew what it was. He even said some things over the summer: boycott Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and any other massive social media, and they will all be enemies of the people. George Bush knew it was gonna happen before it did. Yeah, there's a lot of stories about that. Didn't some of the files just become public? Some of the 9/11 files? Okay, I don't think I have any more updates as far as the recall. I'm trying to see. Bush will start, Biden will finish. Okay, I think that's it as far as the recall. Never told anyone. Yeah, I mean, I think my main takeaway is that I really do think that this was a big success, no matter what, because when I first heard about this and when we were on the ground collecting signatures, it just seemed like such a long shot. And the fact that it got this far and we're all sitting here and Larry Elder has this much of a base, I just think that it's a win. And that's how I'm going to look at it. I'm surprisingly calm. I'm anxious to see the results, but I'm surprisingly calm. I'm just, at this point, it's whatever is supposed to happen will happen. Everyone's talking about AOC. Truth be told, we all want Newsom gone. Yeah, and just look at how they're campaigning. Again, they can't say anything good that he has done. You'll keep hearing them say, this is one of the largest economies in the world. Okay, but that doesn't mean it's good. And it is one of the I believe that California is the fifth largest economy in the world, which is larger than most countries. I want AOC gone. I mean, I'm sorry, but you guys saw AOC at the Met Gala. I know we're getting off topic. Sarah Santoni, yes, this will not end soon. I joked earlier, but could easily see this going to audit. Yeah, I just don't think, I'm just kind of going with the flow at this point. Tax the redress. Yes. And that was just embarrassing. Like that was so embarrassing on so many levels. Let's see what people are saying. Will Larry Elder win tonight? As long as they/Dims don't cheat, not a chance. Oh, no. Praying he does. I hope so. Yes, nope. See, it's pretty split with people. It could go either way. But I like that there's a chance. Because in a state like California, there almost should not be a chance. But there is, and I think that's pretty cool. We can all email Shirley Weber after this. She's in charge of the CA voting. Absolutely. Thank you. Oh. We were talking about Norm Macdonald earlier. Here's a quote by him. Norm Macdonald. It's the greatest gig in the world, being alive. You get to eat at Denny's, wear a hat, whatever you want to do. I like that. I like that a lot. In San Diego, I voted yes to recall and voted for Larry. Oh, great. So sad about Norm. I always liked him. I did too. And you know, the mob actually came for him because he said the R word that some people use to describe people that are intellectually disabled. So he said that word in a joke, and the mob came after him to where he had to apologize. I remember watching him on The View when he was just around all of the hens, all of the pecking hens, and they were like, how dare you say that? He was like, I am sorry. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of, cancel culture came for him. I remember that. That was really sad because, like I said earlier, you know, there's a lot of celebrities that are just really crappy people, and he does not. I mean, clearly I don't know him. He does not strike me as that at all. He just seems like a really laid back, like really genuine, just nice person. So the fact that they came after him was just really awful. Have you told your audience about Ashley Babbitt getting 3 vote by mail ballots? Stop. One of my favorite memes that came out of the 2020 election was, do you guys remember how Trump had all of those boat rallies? So all of the boaters would go out and they had all their big Trump flags. Well, somebody had a meme that was, I don't know what this came from. Maybe it was a flood, and all of these caskets were like floating around in the flood water. So I'm guessing a funeral home was caught in this flood, and it was all these caskets in the flood water. And the meme was, Biden's voters are having a boat rally. Sarah, were you a fan of Norm Macdonald, or who's your favorite comedian? Oh, I love this question because I love comedy. One of my favorite comedians is Sebastian Maniscalco. I really like Norm Macdonald. I really like some of my I like a lot of comedic actors. Ernie Kovacs, much older guy. Ernie Kovacs, I really like physical comedians. Yes, Sebastian is awesome. And I used to live, when I lived in LA, I lived right next to the Comedy Store. So I would go there all the time. And that's where I discovered Sebastian Montescalco. Um, but I really like a lot of comedic actors too. So I was a really big fan of older, like physical comedians. Oh, Joan Rivers. Yes, Joan Rivers is amazing. And she's just someone that makes everyone happy. Slapstick comedy, yes. So I like Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, the Marx Brothers. Uh, how about Kay Vaughn? Oh, are you talking about George Carlin, Joan Rivers? Yes. But Sebastian is definitely one of my favorites. Why am I drawing a blank right now? Um, there was a comedian who is very up and coming, and he was one of my favorites at the Comedy Store, and his name was William Montgomery. So if you get the chance to search this guy on the internet, you can find his stand-up comedy on the internet, but his name is William Montgomery. He's like a red-headed, almost redneck type guy, and he has this strangest comedy, but he's so funny. I also was a really big fan of Chris Farley. Oh, hold on. Chris Farley was a really favorite actor of mine. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I like that emoji. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Chris Farley, The Clown's Prayer. So I like physical comedy so much that I actually went to clown school and I studied physical comedy at the Second City in Hollywood. And I went so far as to, I auditioned to be a clown at Cirque du Soleil in Las Vegas. I didn't get picked. I got cut off the first round, but I went to clown school. I took a physical comedy class, and my teacher at the Second City was a performer for Cirque du Soleil. So one day in class, he was like, if you guys ever audition for Cirque du Soleil, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, you can just audition for Cirque du Soleil? What? Because I always think of Cirque du Soleil as being just acrobats. So I went and looked on their Rodney Dangerfield. That's another really good one. I do remember him. Chris Farley, John Candy is really good. Okay, so I looked on their casting website and they have, was Gavin a classmate in clown school? He wouldn't have made it in clown school. He would have been so awkward in clown school. No. Okay, fun fact. Oh, so I went on this website and I was like, I'm looking up physical, what do they call it? Physical actor? Yeah, they have a part for physical actor. And I looked and I was like, oh, I can do that. I can do that. And I can do that. Robin Williams, he's a really good one. Yeah, too much gel. You can't have that much gel in clown school. You gotta let loose. And I was like, oh my God, I have all of these qualifications. So I sent them a videotape in, and then 3 months later, I got called to go to Las Vegas. So I got to audition on the Michael Jackson 1 stage with a bunch of clowns. And it was one of those times in my life where I was like, how did I end up here? This is wild. But I didn't make it. It was a really cool experience though. But here's a fun story about Chris Farley. So hair gel and skinny jeans. Robin Williams, Richard Pryor. I like Richard Pryor. Oh, one of my favorite comedians, I will say, is Dave Chappelle. And what I really like about Dave Chappelle is that he'll just go and do surprise shows. He doesn't have anything prepared. He's just totally off the cuff, and he'll be on stage for like 2 hours. So that would happen a lot at the Comedy Store. He would show up at like 1 a.m. and close the store. And we would sit there in the audience. Three Stooges, I like them too. So we would sit there in the audience and watch him, and he would interact with you and just go completely off the cuff. Okay, so this is a fun story about Chris Farley. So Chris Farley had something in his pocket that he cherished, and it was actually in his pocket. They found it after he passed away, not in his pocket, but in his wallet. So he kept this in his wallet, and it was there when he passed away, and it's called The Clown's Prayer. I'm going to read it to you because it's so cute. The Clown's Prayer. As I stumble through this life, help me to create more laughter than tears, dispense more happiness than gloom, spread more cheer than despair. Never let me become so indifferent that I fail to see the wonder in the eyes of a child or the twinkle in the eyes of the aged. Never let me forget that my total effort is to cheer people, make them happy, and forget at least momentarily all the unpleasantness in their lives. And in my final moment, may I hear you whisper, when you made my people smile, you made me smile. Isn't that so cute? John Ritter. I love John Ritter. I love that. Slapstick master. Who was? Chappelle is a comic genius, but now, yeah, I will say, I did not like his. Oh, you liked it. I love it. You can look it up online. Just look up The Clown's Prayer if you ever want to read that again. But that, he had it in his wallet when he passed. Um, I have a cool story. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Dave Chappelle. I did not like his. I'll just say it. And I'm a huge Dave Chappelle fan. I did not like his last special, as not very much. I didn't like it very much. But here's a cool story about Dave Chappelle. How he just pops in and does things. So I started acting and doing improv in Denver, Colorado, and we would perform at this little hole in the wall called Deer Pile. The place was literally called Deer Pile, and it was above a vegan restaurant. Yeah, didn't like it so much. Loved his one before that. My mom and I watched it together, and she laughed. Loved his one before that, but with the alphabet people, that was the one that I loved. The alphabet people. So anyway, Dave Chappelle, this was years. Who's on first? Yes, that's a great one. Who's on? Yes, it was called Deer Pile. I think it's still there. And it was so small. Like it was literally just a room with a little tiny stage and a bunch of fold out chairs. And my improv coach used to take a bucket of beer that he just bought, and then you could buy beer and just give donations because you couldn't even have a liquor license or anything like that. But we would do, like, it was just a place for us to do improv shows and to get better. And we would invite just like friends and family, and other improvisers would go. And sometimes they would have stand-up comedy nights. Well, Dave Chappelle was in town, I believe, performing at Comedy Works. It's one of the main. Chris Farley, motivational speaker, still one of my favorites. So he was in town, I think, doing a slew of shows at the Comedy Works, and somebody tweeted at him, hey, you should come by the Deer Pile and do a show. And from that tweet, he showed up at this little place, the Deer Pile, and like did a set. So he does cool things like that, which I like. Eddie Murphy, Raw. Oh, also one of my favorites of all time, In a Van Down by the River. I actually recently just watched that. One of my favorites of all time, I Love Lucy. There's one episode, and it's not even I Love Lucy. It's the show that they did after that, where her and Ricky Ricardo, they live in the house somewhere like in the suburbs of New York, I think. And the show was about Lucy getting a job, and she goes to audition to be this news guy, to be his girl Friday. And that, I could watch that episode a million times. It is so funny. Love Gene Wilder and Gilda Radner. Yeah, I love Lucy's. I could watch a lot of her episodes. They're just timeless. I think a lot of really good comedy. A lot of it. All right, you guys, I think that's everything. Thank you so much to everyone that joined. That was a lot of fun. I'm trying to get better at doing the live streams. And I have Lily Tomlin. Yes, one of my favorites too. And I also like, shoot, I don't even know what her name is right now. Don't know her name. Troop, Beverly Hills Troop. She was in Cheers. Who's that actress that was in Cheers? Shelley Long. I really like Shelley Long too. One of my favorite movies by her, it's a kid's movie, but it's called True Beverly Hills. It's adorable. Shelley Long. I like Shelley Long. Laughter is the best medicine. It really is. I adore comedy, and I think it's so important, and that's why I love the Comedy's Prayer, because it's just to laugh is so important. Okay, but that's everything. Yes, I'm trying to get better at the live streams. I really like doing them, and I have some software now that will hopefully make them better. I'm trying to learn how to use it. Sarah, I've complimented you 3 times now. I like you over Tim Pool. Thank you. That's a really big compliment. I'll probably watch a little bit of Tim Pool tonight. He has a lot of really good guests. I'm trying to learn how to use this software, my brain, and oh, thank you. I'm not on Gab. I'll get on Gab. There's so many apps now. But I'm trying to figure out how to use it. My brain with technology is just like, make it stop now. Math and technology, make it all stop. Real tomato ketchup Eddie, nothing but the best for you, Clark. But if you get the chance to look up, a lot of people don't know who Ernie Kovacs is. He's pretty awesome. Keep shining your light and love, Sarah. Thank you so much, Libby. Okay, I'm going to go now. Thank you so much to everyone that joined. That was a lot of fun, per usual. I really enjoyed your company. So we'll stay tuned with what happens with the recall. Who knows when we're going to know when it's officially in, whether Gavin Newsom is going or not. But anyway, thank you all so much. Everyone have a really good night. And I'll see you later. Okay, bye. Were you mistreated as a child? Your voice is like an 8-year-old. Oh, geez, Louise. I love it when people say that. Ew. Thank you, Kelly. No, I wasn't. People come in all shapes and sizes and sounds. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you, Kelly, so much. I love you guys. I always have a lot of fun doing that.